Hey guys, Godzilla851 back with our Godzilla review / retrospective. It's been a while, but it's been a little busy, so glad to be back. And we're going to be covering one of my personal favorites from the Heisei series, Godzilla versus Mechagodzilla. English translation: Godzilla versus Mechagodzilla. Here in the States, it's known as Godzilla vs. Mechagodzilla 2. Bit inaccurate, but whatever. Also known as Godzilla vs. Super Mechagodzilla. Okay. Our film begins entering a storage facility where the severed head of Mecha King Ghidorah has been laid. And inside, we see several military personnel approach it, talk about how they have the ultimate weapon now to fight Godzilla. Then we cut to a building called the UNGCC, the United Nations Godzilla Countermeasure Center, where they are training to battle Godzilla. Their first prototype was a ship called Garuda, and is used to battle Godzilla. However, they feel it's ineffective. So they raise the remains of Mecha King Ghidorah and begin reverse engineering the technology from the future, building their own super weapon. They give it massive onboard weaponry, a diamond plating called NT-1, is designed to absorb radiation. They give it a bunch of onboard weaponry, and the pieces come together, and we get this guy, Mechagodzilla, the 90s version. In my humble opinion, remember that's the word, the superior Mechagodzilla. But you know, enough of that. A few years go by as Mechagodzilla is being finalized, looking awesome, by the way. I'm sorry. Well, let that go. As the UNGCC starts training their own operatives in different means of battling Godzilla. And we meet one of our main characters of the film. He's a technician that worked on Garuda, and you know, he's really happy working on it. However, he gets a message saying that he's being transferred, and Garuda is pretty much being scrapped. He's going to a special section of the UNGCC, G-Force. What is G-Force? Well, they are the more militant version of the UNGCC. They are the pilots of Mechagodzilla. They are the countermeasure soldiers to go in different battle situations. Okay, where this guy has been only a pilot and a technician working on Garuda. So, what's he gonna do and what's he gonna know to battle Godzilla? And we see that he pretty much knows nothing, falling asleep during class when they're going over battle ideas to battle Godzilla, and getting his ass handed to him in different combat situations, such as hand-to-hand combat. Why would you need hand-to-hand combat to battle Godzilla? Last time I checked, a human being is 6 feet, or Godzilla's 300 some feet. You go kick him in the shins. Can you even reach his shins? Should be about sharpening your minds as Mechagodzilla. And they show that. They actually have a simulation room where they're actually inside of a Mechagodzilla mock-up, and they actually battle stock footage of Godzilla, having themselves have their asses handed to them by the simulation. And the captain of Mechagodzilla is also the captain of the G-Force. And he doesn't like our main character, Aoki, that's his name, and forces him to pretty much in situations he wouldn't really want to go. Cut to Adona Island, where our scientist characters find a massive egg. Well, not massive, but this large egg. It's about the size of a human being with this plant material growing on it. Next to it, there is a skeleton of a pteranodon. And near that, there is an empty eggshell. Okay, cut to night as the scientists are loading up the egg to put on the helicopter to take back to Japan. What came out of the egg was this guy. Yes, the Heisei Rodan, and he looks awesome. Now, the TOHO Rodan is pretty cool, but I like the Heisei Rodan just a little more. There's something about this Heisei version I like. And he begins attacking the scientists. The scientists are forced to go to a cliff. When out in the ocean, the water starts to churn, and this massive light starts coming from it. This can only mean one thing. Godzilla has appeared, and it's the first maybe 15-20 minutes of the film, so we're getting our candy very early as we get to see this awesome new suit, the 93 suit for Godzilla. Now, I know I said that the 91 suit is my overall favorite suit of all, but if I had to pick another one, the 93 suit is definitely in at least the top 3. Some of them, you know, I don't really count because they're so different, but when you combine all the ideas together, the 93 suit is a really awesome suit. And Godzilla begins battling with Rodan. Awesome battle. Two of them are just slamming into each other, Godzilla using his atomic breath, unable to hit the faster moving Rodan, as Rodan closes in and begins pecking at Godzilla's face. Godzilla grabbing Rodan, but the point is, Godzilla defeats Rodan, seemingly killing him, as the scientists capture the egg and bring it back to Japan. Godzilla giving chase. Back in Japan, the egg is being studied and the plant material being removed as Aoki sees on the news that the egg is there and they believe that it's a pteranodon egg, revealing that he is actually a huge pteranodon enthusiast. So he sneaks into the science facility as we meet, again, our scientists, and he takes a piece of sample from the egg. And we run into our good old pal, Mechagodzilla. And she feels something coming from this plant. So she goes back to her ESP Institute and has a bunch of kids analyze it, and they make a song out of it somehow. Okay. Aoki and Mechagodzilla going back to the science building where the egg is, and they start playing the music. However, in the other room where the egg is, far without earshot, the egg begins to hatch. Seemingly scary, but then we see this cute little guy. That's right, known as Baby Godzilla. Adorable. You know, he doesn't have all of his teeth yet, and he seems to have this liking to Miss Gojo, who seems to be his surrogate mother, because whenever she's around the egg, it's this off-white color, looking like an egg. However, when she's not in the room, the egg begins to glow red, seemingly like it's frightened. Yes, the egg was frightened, and the two of them become, you know, mother and son, pretty much. Or surrogates, whatever you want to call it. And it's a really cute scene. They feed the baby Godzilla, or as Mickey was saying, it's a baby Godzilla-saurus, and they start feeding him roses, which shows that they're not primarily meat eaters. They like plants as well. And, just being really cool and really cute scene. But then Mickey Sagusa starts to feel a very familiar presence. Godzilla has arrived, and he is not in a good mood. Slamming around things, breathing fire, taking some scenes from Godzilla vs. Mothra vs. Godzilla, Godzilla vs. The Thing, his landing in that, looking really awesome. And, by the way, a little side note, that's what they were going for as well. Everything's awesome, the way how Godzilla's just stomping around. So the UNGCC says that they want to send out Mechagodzilla. However, Aoki isn't there. He's still at the science facility, so a backup pilot comes. And Mechagodzilla is sent out to fight Godzilla. Mechagodzilla lands, and then starts powering up, and our first battle between Godzilla and Mechagodzilla begins. Mechagodzilla unleashing his own kind of atomic breath, the Mega Buster. It's like a rainbow-looking beam from his mouth. It looks like the old eye lasers from the original Mechagodzilla. Speaking of eye lasers, he has eye lasers as well. And as things seem to be going in his way, Godzilla starts charging up, and he breathes fire at Mechagodzilla. The beam actually, being absorbed by Mechagodzilla, and we get to see something that's very interesting about this film. They actually built a separate head for Godzilla. And with this head, it has all the mechanical devices inside of it, actually moving the lips, the eyes, the tongue, all the things, showing that Godzilla has a lot more facial features than one would originally think. Now, what is Mechagodzilla doing? He's absorbing this radiation and transforms it into his own weapon, the plasma grenade. That's right, firing Godzilla's own beam back at him, just like the Super X2 would, and sending Godzilla down to the ground. Firing shock anchors into Godzilla and begins doing electrical discharge. Now, in theory, this is a good idea. This thing, why I like Mechagodzilla, I like this portrayal, is that they're smart about it. They're not just trying to kill Godzilla, they're slowly chipping away at him, letting Godzilla make mistakes, and then feeding off of those mistakes and trying to, get the upper hand. Which I commend them for, something that the original Mechagodzilla didn't. That was just a juggernaut of weapons moving forward. Once Godzilla got a hold of it, it just kind of fell apart. I like this portrayal of Mechagodzilla. Alright, back to the movie. The shock anchors are inside of Godzilla, electrocuting him foaming at the mouth, seemingly like Mechagodzilla's gonna win, until this starts happening. What is that you just looked at? That is the energy surging back through the cables back into Mechagodzilla, causing it to short out. Godzilla rises from the damage, and you don't really see him pull the cables out, but he does, and he goes over and knocks down Mechagodzilla, causing significant damage, unable to move. Now, for me, I would have just destroyed the thing, but Godzilla moves on because he has something else on his mind. He begins heading towards the science facility to find the baby. And he reaches the area, and he's about to find the baby, but the baby begins to have his eyes glow red. And as his eyes are glowing red, now there are two ways you can look at this scene. Either Godzilla feels bad for the way that he's acting and actually leaves, or he can't sense the baby and leaves on his own volition. I personally feel he was feeling bad. You can see the look on his face like he was distressed, but, he leaves. Aoki returns back to G-Force and is fired from his commission on board of Mechagodzilla and is actually made a parking attendant. Okay. Miss Gojo actually finds a home for baby Godzilla inside of this area thanks to the help of the government, and they do study on the baby, seeing that the baby has a second brain in his hip. Now, to think about that, conclusively, if you look at, he's a Godzillasaur, Godzilla's a Godzillasaur, they both should share the same kind of brain in their hip. So their plan is to lure Godzilla to an island and have him fight Mechagodzilla, and they're going to use this new weapon called the G-Crusher. And destroy the second brain, Godzilla unable to stand, and they would just kill him. But what they're not taking into consideration is that Godzilla has hyper-regenerative powers, and I'm sure that his secondary brain would regenerate in a matter of moments, but, whatever, moving on. Mechagodzilla actually, not really wanting to do this. When the other films, they seemed like she wanted to, get rid of Godzilla, but later in the film saying that she doesn't really want to, and that she feels bad for the position that she's had. Well, they start playing around with baby Godzilla some more, as Aoki sees that Mechagodzilla isn't powerful enough to defeat Godzilla, and he wants to bring back Garuda. He wants to bring back Garuda now. So he turns on the parking lot turntable, not able to allow the lead designer of Mechagodzilla to leave, and he suggests they upgrade Garuda to go with Mechagodzilla. This guy is pleased, and then we move on. As music is played again, baby Godzilla starts to, send on SOS again, bringing back this guy. Yes, Rodan is not dead, and he becomes Fire Rodan. And Fire Rodan comes to Japan, and he intercepts the Japanese military's plan as they're transporting the baby Godzilla to this island with Miss Gojo because she didn't want to leave him alone. Rodan intercepts, and he catches the trailer with the two inside, and he's pecking at it, trying to get it open, as Mechagodzilla is sent out again, and the battle continues with Mechagodzilla and Rodan. This time Garuda is there. Garuda not really doing anything, but, Mechagodzilla is seemingly more like a robot in this film. And it's an awesome fight, but Mechagodzilla does win. But Rodan is able to get a piece of Mechagodzilla, taking his right eye. As things seem a little better, guess who comes back? Yes, Godzilla has returned, and the two begin battling again, entering a stream battle with each other, just like Godzilla did with Mechagodzilla in the original film. And things are, pretty cool, moving back and forth. This time Godzilla getting the upper hand and showing his incredible strength, lifting Mechagodzilla by only his head and neck and throwing him like he was a frisbee. Good stuff. Garuda back in the battle, this time piloted by Aoki, because he feels that he knows Garuda a lot better than anyone else does, and it's true. Garuda was originally scrapped, and he was the only guy working on Garuda, keeping it up in shape, and Mechagodzilla is able to get back to his feet, as Garuda and Mechagodzilla join together and create this guy. Super Mechagodzilla, and this version of Mechagodzilla is far fiercer than the normal, unleashing all of his weaponry at the same time. The eye lasers, the Mega Buster, the plasma grenade, the paralyzer missiles in his shoulders. He has the Garuda backpack, firing the weaponry all at Godzilla at the same time, knocking Godzilla to the ground as they prepare the dreaded G-Crusher. Mechagodzilla being forced to be the one to use the weapon on Godzilla. She hesitates, but overall she does say yes. They fire the G-Crusher into Godzilla's hip, knocking him down, destroying the brain. As Aoki says, "Oh, we did it!" He leaves on his pterodactyl flying motorcycle bird. Yeah, I'm sorry, I forgot to mention that earlier. He made this pterodactyl flying bird thing that he, okay, details. As Mechagodzilla continues firing on Godzilla, the craziest thing happens. Godzilla dies. Yes, Godzilla dies in this film. As things seem that it's over, baby Godzilla breaks out of the container and roars for Rodan. Rodan hears this roar and goes over to the fallen body of Godzilla and becomes one with Godzilla. Pretty much his soul going into Godzilla and resurrecting the King of the Monsters. Godzilla giving off immense heat this time, causing all the joints and everything for Mechagodzilla to lock up, unable to move. As we see that Godzilla has a new trick up his sleeve. Besides the atomic pulse, which was kind of used earlier, we see his brand new attack, the uranium fire. Or as others call it, the red spiral beam. I don't like that. I like calling it the uranium fire. Becoming far more powerful than what Mechagodzilla can handle. Melting Mechagodzilla, destroying pieces off of him. The pilots, along with Mechagodzilla, are able to escape through a escape, thing. And Godzilla destroys Mechagodzilla utterly. And it was just awesome. Baby Godzilla saying his goodbyes to Miss Gojo. A very heartwarming moment in the film. And then those two always did have a heartwarming connection. Godzilla comes over. And Baby Godzilla is scared. But Mickey Sagusa is able to talk with Baby Godzilla telepathically. And Baby Godzilla leaves with Godzilla. Seemingly a family. As our film ends as the two head out to sea. That was Godzilla vs. Mechagodzilla 2, Super Mechagodzilla, whatever you want to call it. The 93 Godzilla vs. Mechagodzilla, and do I need to say anymore? This film was awesome. Okay, the acting was awesome, the characters, awesome, Mechagodzilla's awesome, Godzilla's awesome, the inclusion of Fire Rodan, Baby Godzilla, all awesome stuff. The pacing was great in this film. Just all these great things. The music by Akira Ifukube, just awesome. Now, let's talk about some things that were supposed to happen in this film, which I'm glad they didn't do, but they originally decided what they wanted to do earlier. Originally, Godzilla was supposed to die, which did happen in this film, but he was supposed to stay dead. That's right, they were going to kill off Godzilla in this film and have Baby Godzilla become the new Godzilla. And I'm glad they didn't go with that. Okay. I recommend buying this copy of Godzilla vs. Mechagodzilla 1993 because not only does it have the making of the film at the end of the film, it also has some deleted scenes. One deleted scene that is very special to this film, and which explains the next few films, is Mickey Sagusa coming to visit the Baby Godzilla, calling it a Baby Godzillasaurus. As she approaches it, she has her hair done up in like this bun. As the Baby Godzilla undoes her hair and she actually hugs the baby, and actually you see like a bit of camaraderie grow from that as well, which will explain the next film when I get to it. Overall, I give this film an S. Awesome film. Watch this movie. Love this movie. If you disagree, comment at the bottom. Let me know how you feel. Other than that, this is GoJay51 saying y'all have a good night, and here's to 2016.